back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. And I got a review for you today. From a lot of requests, actually. But we're going to be talking about Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment's Universal Monsters Dracula issue number 1. It is written by James Tynuon IV, art by Martin Simmonds, and letters by Rus Wooton. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It does help. Hit the like, the comment, all that stuff help. You know, hit the bell. You never know when I'm going to be dropping reviews. I don't have a schedule, so that'll keep you in tune. It'll pop up whenever I release a video, you know. So, Dracula, issue number 1. Before we get into this, there is a letter at the back of the book that explains this book immensely, and I was a little confused about it. I thought this was James Tynion, you know, his reimagining of the you know, Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it is not. It is stated in the back of the book that this is literally like just the Universal Monsters movie Dracula, you know, page per page. So there's no you know, as far as the writing goes, it's Bram Stoker. So what there is liberty with is the art, and we're going to get in that because we're going to start the review. So we start out, and most of this book is, I mean, if you know the story, it's focused on Renfield. They already have him incarcerated. This is after he, you know, has already made the trip from Transylvania back to the States. I think it's the States. It might be England. I don't remember. But basically, he's in the asylum. He's, you know, he's got this doctor. They're really bad with names in this book. We do get several names, but not all of them. But basically, the doctor, this psychiatrist, is interviewing Renfield, and Renfield is, you know, talking about blood and the master, and you know what the blood is, and he's over here eating insects, and you know. To the psychiatrist, it doesn't make any sense, but he's kind of focused on the master kind of thing. And that's where we get our title page, and it is dope. It's a dope spread of Dracula. So from this point on, we meet, I think his name is John Harper, and he's, in the story, he's Lucy's boyfriend, and he's basically talking to the psychiatrist. He's heard about this Renfield that's been in the papers, about the story about the Dimitri and how everybody on board was killed, and that's kind of what he's asking about. You know, he's wanting to get like an inside scoop on his investigation on Renfield, and they go into details about, like, you know, how Renfield claims that he didn't kill anybody on the boat, that it was his master, but like everybody on the boat was killed in horrific ways. Not only that, but ways that don't justify Renfield's strength, kind of thing. But they still believe it's Renfield. That's why they do have him locked up. At this time, the psychiatrist mentions that after his investigation with Renfield, he has come to the conclusion that during the trip from Transylvania back to the States, he has contracted some kind of disease, and that's technically what is controlling him. So he has set out to, you know, contact the medical world to see if he can, you know, figure out if this is a disease or a virus or something like that, and if he can cure it, kind of thing. We jump over to a big part of the story, but this is Lucy, and I'm drawing a blank at her friend's name. I'm not good with name, guys. Lucy's the important one. Lucy's the one that's dating, you know, our dude John, that's in there talking to the doctor and stuff. And John Harker, not Harper. But basically, it's almost the same conversation between the psychiatrist and John, just with Lucy and her best friend, and we find out that I think Lucy is the daughter to the psychiatrist, so she has information, you know, inside information about the investigation with Renfield, and that's what her friend's asking about. She's like, give me all the deets, you know, tell me all the, and we get a little more of the vicious part of the story. At one point, while you know, Lucy is reading the notes to the other girl, the girl happens to look out the window, and she mentions to Lucy that somebody is staring up at them, and they, like, specifically at the window looking at them, kind of thing. And we get this page right here. It's basically like either Dracula's controlling her from down there, or is in the process. A lot of the art is abstract. It doesn't really focus on the concrete part of the story. That's the liberties that have been taken. But basically, as this is going on, and I want to assume that this scene, if you know the story, it's not like one scene. It's a bunch of stuff. But while this is going on, Renfield can feel the master, he can feel Dracula and stuff, and he starts calling out to him like, "Come on, come get me! Yes, it's time!" He even mentions like the specific time. It's called the Walpurgis night, and that's the master's night. And they show Drac, and he eventually comes after this redhead, and does what Drac does best. He drains her for all the blood, this dope ass spread. I do like the spreads in here, but it basically is a bunch of like fast motion. They got Dracula. He drained this girl, killed her, and then he turns into a bat and flies away, kind of thing. We jump back over to the insane asylum with Renfield, and he's extra aggravated now because of last night and the master, and he feels like it's his time to come. The psychiatrist is basically asking him to further progress the story, like, well, how's the master gonna come get you, what is this? And Renfield goes into the story. He was like, it don't matter. Like, he was like, bro, because at one point Renfield mentions that the master's been waiting. The psychiatrist asks a legitimate question. Well, why has the master been waiting if he could just come and kill us all, kind of thing? And Renfield gives him an answer, and he's like, the master has been waiting for this time for everybody to stop believing in the weapons that could hurt him, and now is that time that it's happening. Just like you're sitting in front of me and you don't even believe in the things that could hurt my master. So basically it's the proper time to come out of his hiding, kind of thing. There is a little bit that goes from the psychiatrist as he's listening to Renfield, and basically he wants to know more about this, and he's like, it doesn't matter. He was like, you don't believe in the right things to be able to stop my master, and he's going to come, he's going to drink all your blood, and then eventually he's going to release me. And as he says this, he jumps forward at the psychiatrist, and eventually they have to strap him down and throw him back in the cell and stuff. After he's thrown in the cell, we get the scene over here where he's calling out for Dracula while Dracula is sleeping, and just screaming out, "Master!" Like I mentioned at the very beginning of this review, this is that article where James Tynion talks about the opportunity to write for such a massive franchise, story, kind of thing. And he even states that after leaving Batman, because that's what he was writing superhero-wise, and he started doing independents like Department of Truth, Nice House on the Lake, and stuff like that, that he wasn't going back to writing other people's character stories. He wanted to focus on his own stories, kind of thing, his own characters. He wanted to legitimate write, create. But opportunity happened to come along, and this was presented for him. So he jumped on the opportunity to draw for something write for something that he does love, kind of thing. That's basically the sum up of the article. It also states that that no written liberties were taken. He's basically just rewriting Bram Stoker's Dracula and the Universal Studio movie Dracula. There is some sketchbook stuff at the back of the book. We get to see a little bit of Drac and some action poses. I want to imagine that was like a cover or something like that. We do get a cover preview for the next issue. Actually, a couple different cover previews. No description or nothing like that. We know, Master, he's gonna go after Lucy, and he's gonna, fucks with Renfield while he's locked up in there. But if you have not watched the Universal Studios movie Dracula or seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, I highly recommend going to watch those movies. They're both are some of my favorite movies. I'm a huge vampire fan. But if you were lost in the story, like this didn't make any sense, those movies will sum it up, and you won't have to wait for the rest of the issues. I highly suggest waiting for the rest of the issues, because it's the art you're after. And for me, it was a win. I'm not a huge fan of abstract art, but there was enough to where you know, like the splash pages, those were fantastic. But hey guys, that is my review on James Tynion, The Force Dracula from the Universal Monsters. Number one, let me know down below what you thought. Did you like the art? You know, did you like the read? Were you, me personally, I've read Bram Stoker. I was a teenager when I read it, so there's certain parts of the story that I don't 100% remember everything, but well, guys, that's my review. Comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. You know, did you like this? Did you not like it? You know, if you're a huge Universal Studios Dracula fan, let me know down below what you thought of this. Did it line up with that movie kind of thing? I actually need to go rewatch it just so I can, you know, I've watched Bram Stoker's recently, but not the Universal Monster, you know, Dracula. Guys, that's my review. I want to thank everybody out there that watches these videos, that likes, that comments, that takes the time, you know, even if it's just for a second to watch my reviews. It means the world to me, being able to sit here and talk to you about comics and stuff like that. But guys, that's my review. I'm rambling right now.